I've been to most of them. So yeah, probably. Yeah, good luck. I read it. I saw that. So I was at work today. Like, hey, I was like, I got questions already. I already got you. So I wanted to ask everybody. So I appreciate you. Yeah. I brought 3 ties with me today. I wasn't sure which one. That's funny. Go with that. Just sweep it over. Yeah. So I just didn't know. I didn't know. No, I don't think anybody is. Okay. I'll do that. Thank you. As always. Keep us running. Yeah. Try to follow along. Cooperate. I brought mine a couple of times, and it's nice to have, but I find I'm looking at this more often than I'm looking at this. All
right. You ready, Josh? You ready? Let's go hard. Are you ready? You ready?
Ready?
I would like to call this meeting, the regular session of Virginia City School Board, to order. Would you please join me in the pledge to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we need to approve the agenda. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Ms. Austin, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Alvis?
Yes.
Mr. Fletcher?
Yes.
Mr. Hartley?
Yes.
Mr. Slagle?
Yes.
Yes. Next on our agenda, we have some recognitions, which must be why we have such a good crowd with us tonight. I am so glad that on Mondays, first Mondays of the month, if you'd like to come back sometime. But that we have a recognition of Virginia Middle School students for the NASA Kid Wind, and Ms. Eileen Allison is going to come and proceed with the rest of this recognition.
Good afternoon. My name is Ms. Allison, and I'm the tech ed teacher at Virginia Middle School. This year, along with Ms. Austin, we were able to have two groups of competitors from our school. The first group was our NASA group, we actually got to meet with NASA engineers. The purpose of this competition was to follow the engineering design process and create a water filtration system which could simulate water being filtered from the rocks on the moon. Our students followed that design process. We went through scientific testing. We tried different things. This was a wonderful experience, and then we all got to travel to Virginia Beach to present this in front of some NASA engineers, as well as the 21st Century Community Learning Centers. While we were there, we got to visit the Virginia Space and Science Museum, and I'm sure a lot of the students got to go to the beach for the first time, and this was a wonderful experience, and we wanted to thank the school board members for allowing us to go, as well as Mr. Ritchie, during this competition with NASA. So I do have some certificates for those students that participated in the NASA competition. Hand those out now. Okay. And after that, I'll tell you about our Kid Win kids. Oh, this is Isaac Alexander this one. Michael Edson. Tobias Goodson. Max Hill. Jocelyn Mays. Ian McCracken. Harper Outlaw. Dominic Puckett. Zeke White. Oh, sorry, Chelsea Reed. And Zeke White. I would like to say, if you can see some of their shirts that they have on, they did have to design that logo. It was a combination of ideals, but it was designed by Harper Outlaw. And then I printed them on my computer and made them t-shirts for the competition. So. A picture. Yeah. Ready? So our next competition was the regional Kid Win competition. Kid Win is actually a national competition. I think this is the first year that they've held it in Virginia, in Southwest Virginia. It has been held in other states for a long time. But the purpose is to learn about renewable energy. The students had to design windmill blades to see which one produced. We had 7 group of girls, and we competed at Virginia Tech at Blacksburg. They were actually able to tour the campus there, see the engineering department, and they ended up winning best blade design for their windmill, as you can see there. And I would like to say, I was up there with them, and it was so tedious, and they kept trying and never gave up, and their effort was so wonderful, and they put in a lot of hours for this. They created their own poster boards. They had to go in and be quizzed on their knowledge, and they did an amazing job. So I can't speak highly enough on how well they did on this, as well as on NASA Kids. They did wonderful too. So we have certificates for them as well, and I have Jaden Dempsey. Brooklyn Ecklenburg. Sophie Gilbert. Sadie Dolby. Jocelyn Mays. Caitlin Sawyer. Julia Williams. Did I miss anybody?
No, Sadie's not here.
And we did get an award for that, which we brought.
Thank you, Ms. Allison and Ms. Austin. for your work with these students. Students, this looks like a wonderful job. Congratulations on your awards. Was the award that little black thing? A blade. Okay, a blade. I thought that looked like a blade. So students, you've done a wonderful job, and maybe there's some future scientists and maybe some space travelers in that group that you have there. So thank you very much.
Hey, I'd like to say projects like this, hands-on, real-world experience, that's what makes it memorable and something you'll remember probably the rest of your life. And I think it's very rewarding. I really appreciate you all and the teachers and administration pushing this kind of training. Thank you.
You are welcome to stay for the next several reports, but I understand if you'd like to move on. Thank you for coming this evening.
Never do. We divorced the water.
Now we see who the real fans of
Yes.
civic meetings are.
Yes, we appreciate those of you who've chosen to stay.
Fans are the ones who have to stay.
All right, next is our superintendent's report. We'll turn that over to you, Dr. Scott.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good evening to everyone. Just have a couple reports to offer here. The maintenance department, as you may have noticed on your way in, has recently, or is very close to completing the new training room downstairs in what had been the old art gallery. We use this space to interview teaching candidates and have other stakeholder meetings there. So oftentimes it's the first impression that potential employees and community members have of our school division once they come inside the doors. So we have renovated that to enclose that space. And we will still retain that aspect that was the art gallery by putting student artwork on the corridor in there so that it's still visible through the storefront. But we've done all that work, teasing the maintenance department that that's a good warm-up for the summer work they're about to do to get that project under their belt. Speaking of that other work, the maintenance department got a jump on 2 other major projects for the summer, and the first being the renovations at the primary school. So this will finish out the 3-year project of enclosing with individual classrooms all those pods that had been at the old Van Pelt, now the primary school. So they started work on that with a demo today, and about a week from now they'll be starting to build those walls back up. The other major project that they're working on right now, Jeff Shelton, our Director of Instructional Technology, Chief Executive, Jeff, I'm looking at you and I'm struggling to come up with your title. Our Chief Technology Officer, there we go. Sorry, Jeff.
NASA engineer.
Yes. Jeff has, with the state's security grant, has secured money for a project that maintenance has helped to direct a little bit, but to get all the hardware for our classroom doors at the middle school changed over so that now teachers will be able to activate the lock by throwing a deadbolt inside the classroom. So anytime that there's any kind of crisis event, they won't have to rely on fine motor skills to put a key in the door and try to get it locked. So that's a very important upgrade from a safety standpoint. And as I said, that's being done largely with the state security grant. No new keys are required, so very pleased with what the contractor, Trimble, has been able to do there. Next is summer school. We're just 1 week out. Schools this week are finalizing their lists and making arrangements with transportation. We are taking a slightly different approach to summer school at the elementary level this summer. Dr. DeNaberga, I think, gets the lion's share of the credit for this new format. So what we're doing, instead of having kind of broader offerings at the elementary school. We're trying to be a little bit more targeted and reduce the student-to-teacher ratio, have more teachers in place so they're working with smaller groups of students, but really doing targeted interventions on math and reading specifically. We do have some other electives going on there, but the focus is to try to get a little, the state doesn't really prescribe how we do summer school. They only ask that we do it. So we're hoping that this new approach is beneficial for our students. And the last thing that I want to mention is related to chronic absenteeism. Even though it's difficult to say how all the final numbers will shake out with the new state accreditation model, what we can say is that 2 years ago, we had 821 students whose attendance was categorized as chronically absent, meaning that they had missed over 10% of the school year. In 2 years' time, we've cut that by 224 students. So I'm very pleased with the work that we've been doing in our attendance offices and with the help of Sarah DeBusk. That takes a lot of time, a lot of communication, not only with our own school staff, but with support service unit and so forth. So to have 224 more students under that threshold is, I think, a remarkable accomplishment. So I wanted to make sure that we mentioned that tonight. But Madam Chair, that is all of my report for this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Scott.
Hey, could I ask a question about the chronic absence? Do we get more help from the court system than we did before?
From what Mrs. DeBusk tells me, she and the Commonwealth Attorney are kind of in rhythm right now. So I think that there was a general understanding about making sure that we were providing the information that the court service unit wants, and they're able to assist us there. So I think that relationship is heading in the right direction right now.
Good. Next on our agenda is public comment. I have no cards or anyone who has requested to speak. Unless there is someone else who would like to, we will move on to number 4, our consent agenda, to be acted on in a single motion. This will be for the approval of payment of bills, the approval of the minutes from our May session, and approval of some BSBA policy updates. Is there a motion?
I move to approve the.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Right then, Mrs. Dawson, would you call the roll?
Yes.
Mr. Fletcher.
Yes.
Mr. Hartley.
Yes.
Mr. Slagle.
Yes.
Mrs. Hubbard.
Yes. Under action items, 5A is the approval of the renewal of school nutrition certificate of deposit. Oh, you have some words about that?
Yes, if you'd like background information on that. We keep a CD for school nutrition funds, and it is time to renew that. And I believe Heather Watson, who is in attendance here tonight, can answer questions that we might have about that. But I know that we had requested information from, I believe, 3 different banks to make sure that we were getting the best rate on these CDs. And the result is that the New People's Bank was able to give us the best rate on those, and so that's our recommendation, is to keep the certificate of deposit with them. And Mrs. Watson, what's the length of that term? 1 year. 1 year. Okay.
All right then. Is there a motion then?
I move that we approve renewal of school nutrition.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
I just have one question. Is this something that we renew annually, or is it like rolled over? I know sometimes when you compare things like this, you got to get the rates and stuff and lock them in.
I'm going to ask Heather Watson to answer that question. I will tell you that with some of our RFPs, and as we award those bids, sometimes we will enter into agreements that say, this is the term.
We call around a few months prior to check those rates to see that we are still getting the best rate before we allow it to roll over.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other discussion? All right, then, Ms. Austin, would you call for the vote?
Mr. Albert?
Yes.
Mr. Fletcher?
Yes.
Mr. Hartley?
Yes.
Mr. Slagle?
Yes.
Yes. All right, 5B is the approval of establishing an athletic school activity fund bank account. You have some background on that.
Yes, so with our school activity funds, excuse me, a lot of the receipts that we deal with are related to athletics, and this action will give us an opportunity to create a separate athletic fund, and it's actually related to the next item there too. But just to make sure that we have the ability to be a little bit more responsive with our debts and the payments there. This is recommended by Mrs. Tammy Jones, and if we need more information on that, again, Heather can speak to that, but this is something that we believe to be necessary to make sure that we're doing business in a prompt and direct manner.
What corners does this cut? I guess what's the pro aspect of it?
So right now, with everything under one umbrella fund at the schools for the activities, that has a few more involved in it. This kind of streamlines things and keeps things where athletics can enter into those agreements themselves and make those payments themselves without going through the school principal and so forth.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Do I hear a motion?
I'll move to approve the establishment of the athletic school activity fund bank.
Second.
Any other discussion?
So let me ask this question. Will our officials be paid out of this account?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Yeah, this has the result of this should be to take some of the speed bumps out of the process and to give us an opportunity to have that one department put in the invoices and
Okay,
so
so
forth.
I know that it's going to have a separate checking account.
Yes, sir.
And cut their own check without.
Yes, sir. It'll still have financial oversight,
Right.
but it'll give them a little bit more control over their finances.
Okay.
Any further discussion? None? All right, Mrs. Austin?
Mr. Albert?
Yes.
Mr. Fletcher?
Yes.
Mr. Hartley?
Yes.
Slagle?
Yes.
Yes. Item 5C is the approval of the certificate of deposit withdrawal.
I may need Heather's help with this a little bit more, but I'll do the color commentary afterwards and let her do this part.
So currently, the high school and the athletic department is under one umbrella within student activity, and they have a CD. So this motion is to withdraw that CD when we break apart the two accounts, since the other one went for approval. That way, both accounts will have access to those certificate of deposit funds, and then of course, if they choose, I guess, if we choose to vote to tie it back into a CD, but we want a portion of that to stay with the funds within the high school, and then a portion of it to go to the athletic piece as well, since it's all under, it will be still under one full umbrella, but two separate sides of that.
All right, do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion for the approval of certificate of deposit withdrawal.
Second.
Any further discussion?
I have a question. And it really goes back to the original action item about nutrition CDs. And I understand CDs, and I understand if we have money that makes sense to invest in a CD. But how does that, is that money after 1 year, we withdraw it and then use it for the upcoming year? Is that how that works, or?
Since I have been here, we have not withdrew from those CDs. We have just renewed them and carried them over. So I would assume that would be the option, is that if we did see the need for it, we could withdraw that and put those funds back into whether it be school nutrition or athletics, and use that money as we see fit.
So if we get into an emergency and need all new football helmets or something, is that where that money?
Yes, we could use it for that.
Okay. Thank you.
If I understand it, this is just the cash in the current, because it's 2 buckets, you're going to split them out. This isn't to establish 2 new CDs.
Correct. We're just going to split it.
Any other discussion? All right, Ms. Austin.
Mr. Alves?
Yes.
Mr. Fletcher?
Yes.
Mr. Hartley?
Yes.
Mr. Slagle?
Yes.
Mrs. Duffy?
Yes. Item 5D is for the approval of the VSBA policies. JFCM, student cell phone and smart device possession and use. EBBC, opioid antagonists. IGBJ, advanced or accelerated mathematics. Can you provide insight?
I would be happy to provide insight on these. To take the cell phone policy first, we have gone from a governor's executive order to legislative action on this, and so the VSBA has provided a model policy or template for the policy, and they don't have many like this where they give us a lot of room to insert our own language, but this is one where the template was set up such that we could do that. So all we have really done here is to make sure that we have a searchable VSBA policy that shares all the information that was put in our regulation from January, February this year. So the way that this policy reads is that it says that these are the rules at each grade level, and that language is imported directly from the regulations that we already had on file.
I have a question. There's, I know, looking over the law that the governor signed, there's mention in there of complete bell-to-bell, which the policy that we passed back in January mentions bell-to-bell with the exception of lunchtime for high school students. So does this policy from VSBA amend anything
No,
that
sir.
we're currently at?
No, sir. It does not undo anything.
I had a question too, and this is more so just for clarification. When it comes to disciplinary actions for whatever violation you get up to that point, we're still on the same page about in-school suspension and suspension. I know in the new law it says something that without an incident coinciding with another violation, be it harassment, bullying, something like that the student couldn't be suspended or expelled, etc., but could they still receive in-school suspension?
Yeah, I think when it comes to some of this, years ago that the state did away with one of the disciplinary codes about being tardy, and you couldn't put a kid in internal suspension for being tardy, things like that. I think that the way that we look to frame that conversation going forward is that it's not about the cell phone, it's about insubordination at that point. So
Gotcha.
that I don't want to say workaround, but that's sort of how we have to approach those things, is that, you know, if you're clearly violating a rule and it's insubordination, then the problem is the insubordination, not, you know, what.
Of course. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Do we vote on these as 5 individuals or as a group?
The way it is teed up right now is as a group action, but if you would like to, we can break those apart.
Well, I'm just going to ask straight out, are we not required to follow that pretty much to the D on the cell phone for bell to bell?
So with VSBA policies, you can see down on the lower left, I know it's far away on that screen, but VSBA policies come with a copyright on them. And when we adopt them wholesale, that's the policy that we're supposed to live by. When we deviate from that or say that the model policy that they're pushing forward doesn't quite do exactly what we want it to do, we can still pass a policy and change language. We just drop the copyright when that happens. So bell to bell was, with the exception of lunchtime bell to bell, there's when that first instructional bell rings. So I think that that's still within the guidance of what the law is saying there, but if that's something that you'd like us to wait a month on and rethink, we can do that.
Well, I've always felt that, if they call for bell to bell, that, I feel like we should do bell to bell, and just make it simple. To me, that's my view. As far as enforcement and policing and all of that. But if we were to vote on this separately, I would vote against it.
Yes. Okay, then what is the pleasure of the board in pulling out this particular policy and voting on it separately?
I would like it to remain like it's listed in the agenda.
I would like it to be separate.
All right. Mr. Allen?
Would you like to postpone it for a minute?
Maybe let's do that. Okay. What if we were to postpone it until our next board meeting, July?
That's fine.
Fine.
Sure.
I say this, and I don't mean to be argumentative, this was passed unanimously in January and nothing's changing with it. Personally, me, and I perfectly understand Mr. Fletcher's issues with it as well, but I'm happy where we're at.
Happy over there.
I like bell to bell myself, but we don't have enough votes. There's no sense pulling it out. I mean, if me and Steve's the only one bell to bell and everybody else isn't, there's no sense pulling it out.
Back in January, when we were having this discussion, that the board was 2-2, and that the deciding vote.
Unanimous, yeah.
Well, I think the final vote ended up being unanimous, but it was entered into with the understanding that if we allowed that carve out during lunchtime, if that became problematic, we would bring it back to the table. And if you'd like, we can discuss that and get feedback from the high school and see how that has been.
I mean, Bill and Vanessa don't want bell to bell, it doesn't matter. I mean, there's no sense pulling it out. I mean, it's
My understanding of this is, the whole reason for this is it went from an executive order to a law. And now it's just being performance, and this is the BSBA policy, but we have a little bit of flexibility around that. I've heard no complaints or anything around what our policy is now. We just pointed out, we did kind of say, look at it. Barring anybody, any major issues with the way it works, I can agree with that. There's a good reason on it.
I just don't understand having the policy to go by if we're going to tailor it to our. Well, let's take out the second and third period too. Gym.
The version that we ended up with was in response to parents who didn't want their child to be completely without cell phones. That was ground that was given to say that that's a time that would not interfere with instruction. I understand that it wasn't in the full spirit of the bell-to-bell mindset, but that was the ground that we gave, or concession that we made in terms of taking it farther away from the students during the day.
And I understand Mr. Slagle too. We did vote on this, but I guess I was under the presumption that this would be for next school year.
I thought
I guess not.
we said that we would try the lunch, see how it worked at lunch and see if there were issues. So I don't have any feedback from how lunch would have gone. Have you ever gotten feedback from that?
The initial feedback that I got after the first month and a half or so was that the violations that we had were more about understanding when that time started, if it was on the way to lunch or once you reached the cafeteria. I was very pleased at how the administration at the high school handled that and saying that we use that as a teachable moment and work with students. And since then, I have not heard complaints about how that has affected instruction or how that's affected student behavior.
Okay.
Okay, so then if it was,
We'll just leave it in there.
let it stay?
Just leave it in, just pull it out.
Okay, leave it in.
Would you like me to go on to the policy about the notification of suspected
Yes.
opioid-related
Now,
overdoses?
yes.
So with the opioid epidemic that we're seeing across the nation, this is a policy that would require us to provide parental notification if there are overdoses that the response to which would be the use of Narcan. So this is one that we believe we can comply with, and when there are, hopefully it's not when, but excuse me, if there's such an overdose, that we would push out a notification to all parents to let them know that that was the response that we were required to provide.
What type of policy do we currently have on this, or do we have one?
There's not a notification mandate for that.
Okay.
Budget.
May I add something?
Yes, sir.
We do have a regulation in place related to naloxone, Narcan. So this policy in KPD, I think, is another policy goes along with what Dr. Scott was talking about. They kind of are companion policy about notifying parents if there is an overdose process. Nothing Narcan. Not with nurse.
Right.
Do we
Are we
need
good?
further discussion on this policy?
All right. And you can move on to our math.
Okay. And for me, the math policy, the highlight here is for students who score in the top 25th percentile, we would be required to put them into the advanced math in the next grade level. However, if we do not currently offer an advanced math in that, we're not required to add staff to accomplish that. So if those sections are available, then those students who are in the top 25th percentile would qualify and be placed in those classes.
And that's based on SOL.
Yes, sir. Did I miss anything there, Mr. Ritchie?
Has it been an issue before?
I wouldn't say that it's been an issue, but I think this is just in an effort to encourage more rigorous coursework for our students.
that is all of the policies under 5D.
Did we discuss about student athlete, extreme heat safety and protective?
Is that in consent or was that? I'm sorry, I saw 3 there. So the extreme heat, discussions we had about that with Mr. Brad Harper, athletic director. We are going to, if the board approves this policy, we are going to make visuals to be readily available to all of our coaches. We already have the scientific gadget to help us with these readings, to make sure that not only all of our coaches, but band, for instance, that everybody's given the same information and takes the same precautions. But we do not disagree with anything that is there, and it's simply a matter of keeping everybody informed. And so I think that providing a visual for all coaches and making sure that our athletic trainer is in a position to be able to push out information when those readings reach certain levels, this should be pretty easy to comply with.
And we already have this hardware, so to speak, to
Yes.
roll with that.
Mr. Harper, what's the name of?
Sling cyclometer.
Yes. We already have a sling cyclometer.
Say it again.
I was, as I was reading through the policy and looking at that, I kept trying to do Google searches for conversion charts and finally called Mr. Harper and said, do we have one of these or do we need to go out and purchase some sort of technical instrumentation? And was told that we already have one. We've already been using it.
I guess, do we have, I interrupted you.
No.
Do we have, I guess, multiple of these things? Or will it, for example, make these assessments at one location, or will it be sport specific? So, Paul, for example, you've got football would be practicing at the high school and golf at Clear Creek. Would it measure in one location, or would it?
So we have 2 in the athletic training room that I was aware of. Mr. Ashbrook just shared that he has 5 in the science master. So yes, we'll be able to have it wherever we are in the
Mr. Ashbrook, may we use yours?
I've got, I think this is probably great, but I mean, what happens if you start practice and it's 80 degrees and in 2 hours it's 90? I mean, do you go through all these conditions and change practice all of a sudden now you get 3 drinks per hour? Or
Well, I think that would be the expectation, but I also think that there's going to be some anticipating, where we might be 2 hours from now and things like that. Yeah. Kind of like what we do right now with just forecasting rain. I think that we can stay ahead of those things, and even if that means leaping to tier 3 when we're sitting at tier 1, to make informed decisions there.
so this is a guideline. It's not, no one's going to be this, so to speak, or?
This is something that we would be expected to police ourselves.
It just seems complicated. No,
But we have been fortunate in the South, as far as the city of Bristol, with Coach Hodge and now Mr. Cole, that this is not much different than what we've already had in place. And a lot of it comes with planning practices ahead of time, looking at long-range forecasts, communication between the coaches and the certified athletic trainer and myself and Coach Timmons. So it's really just putting it into, like Dr. Scott said, having a visual and making sure we're all kind of, but we've already been doing this for as long as I've been here. So if it's tweaked a little bit, but the water breaks without pads or without instruments or moving inside of all things that we've already been doing, it just falls in with that policy. And again, thank you for allowing us to have a certified athletic trainer to help monitor this. So,
Thank you.
thank you.
No, it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
All right, is that all? I'm sorry, I was just going by my, didn't mean to leave out the last two things. Good. All right then, are we ready to make a motion on this one? We need more, okay.
I'll make sure, not just the cell phone, which we talked about a little more, but even like the sweat bulb temperature and the opioids, that all of these are being in conformance with new acts of the general assembly.
Yes, sir. So we pay a subscription to Virginia School Board Association, and part of the service that we pay for is be able to share the policies that they push out. Their policies, they have a legal staff there that goes through to make sure that cross references, that everything is in compliance with emerging state legislation and things. And so about 3 times a year, the VSBA reviews several of their policies, make sure that anything that has been changed in the legislation, that the policies are still right with the law there. So it should be with a high degree of confidence we say this conforms to current law.
Do we have some thermometers that do fractional degrees?
No, a little round. Make sure we err on the side of the
Okay.
Are we ready for a motion?
So moved.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All right, Ms. Austin.
Mr. Alves,
Yes.
Mr. Fletcher,
No.
Mr. Hartley,
Yes.
Mr. Slagle,
Yes.
Mrs. Guppy.
Yes. All right, we move down to 5E, which is the approval of granting superintendent permission to hire new employees between June 3rd, 2025 and July 6th, 2025 in consultation with the school board. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion for the approval of granting superintendent permission to hire new employees between June 3rd and July 6th.
Second.
All right, any discussion on that? I think we'll let you do that. Ms. Austin, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Alves,
Yes.
Mr. Fletcher,
Yes.
Mr. Hartley,
Yes.
Mr. Slagle,
Yes.
Mrs. Guppy.
Yes. Item 6 is closed session for discussion of certain personnel as authorized by this code. And so, Mr. Fletcher, I will ask that you read this into closed session.
Pursuant to section 2.23711A1 of the Code of Virginia, I move that the board convene a closed meeting for the purpose of discussing the following matters: discussion of certain personnel, recommendation for employment, and resignations.
I'll second.
Mrs. Austin?
Mr. Alves,
Yes.
Mr. Fletcher,
Yes.
Mr. Hartley,
Yes.
Mr. Slagle,
Yes.
Mrs. Guppy.
Yes. All right. Then we thank you for your attendance and staying with us for a while. into session.
Sure. Bristol, Virginia School Board certifies that to the best of each member's knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements by Virginia law were discussed in the closed meeting, and only such public matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were considered.
Second.
Okay, Ms. Austin, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Allen.
Yes.
Mr. Fletcher.
Yes.
Mr. Hartley.
Yes.
Mr. Slagle.
Yes.
Yes. Now I need a motion to approve attachment A.
So moved.
Second.
All right. Ms. Austin, would you call roll again, please?
Mr. Allen.
Yes.
Mr. Fletcher.
Yes.
Mr. Hartley.
Yes.
Mr. Slagle.
Yes.
Yes.
And I would like to add this motion as well, coming out of private closed session. I'll make a motion to approve superintendent's new contract, 4-year contract with details within.
Second.
Beginning July 1.
Second.
Okay. And Ms. Austin?
Mr. Allen.
Yes.
Mr. Fletcher.
Yes.
Mr. Hartley.
Yes.
Mr. Slagle.
Yes.
Yes. Is there any old or new business?
July.
July. Do we-
One of them
Does
is,
it-
one of them is.
one of you?
Yeah.
All right, on about July the 3rd. One of you needs to make a motion about approving July 3rd.
Yeah, I make a motion that we approve, July 3rd as a paid day off for school board staff.
Oh, yeah.
Or school employees, excuse me.
I'll second.
Ms. Austin, would you call roll again?
Mr. Allen.
Yes.
Mr. Fletcher.
Yes.
Mr. Hartley.
Yes.
Mr. Slagle.
Yes.
Mrs. Dunn.
Yes. Anything else? I think we got it. All right, the meeting is adjourned.